The subject of this speech is a topic which has been discovered recently and which may not exist at all. I may be talking about something that does not exist. Therefore, I'm free to say everything or nothing. I, in my stories and novels, often write about counterfeit worlds, semi-real worlds, as well as deranged private worlds, inhabited often by just one person, while meantime the other characters either remain in their own worlds throughout or are somehow drawn into one of the peculiar ones. This theme occurs in the corpus of my 27 years of writing. At no time did I have a theoretical or conscious explanation for my preoccupation with these pluriform pseudo-worlds, but now I think I understand. What I was sensing was the manifold of partially actualized realities lying tangent to what evidently is the most actualized one, the one which the majority of us, by consensus gentium, agree on. Later that day, back home again, but still deeply under the influence of the sodium pentothal, I had a short, acute flash of recovered memory. Then, in mid-March, a month later, the total body of memories, intact and entire, began to return. You are free to believe me or to disbelieve, but please take my word on it that I am not joking. This is very serious, a matter of importance. At that time, I had no idea what I was seeing. It resembled nothing that I had ever heard described. It resembled plasmic energy. It had colors. It moved fast. It collected and then dispersed. But what it was, what he was, I am not sure even now. In other words, it's a common theme in my writing that a dark-haired girl shows up at the door of the protagonist and tells him that his world is delusional, that there's something false about it. Well, this did finally happen to me. I even knew that her hair would be black. I had an actual complete sense of what she would look like and what she would say. She did appear. She was a total stranger, and she did inform me of this fact, that some of my fictional works were in a literal sense true. I wrote out these dreams in novel after novel, story after story. To name two in which this prior ugly present obtained most clearly, I cite The Man in the High Castle and my 1974 novel about the U.S. as a police state called Flow My Tears, the Policeman Said. I'm going to be very candid with you. I wrote both novels based on fragmentary residual memories of such a horrid slave state world. People claim to remember past lives. I claim to remember a different, very different present life. I know of no one who has ever made this claim before, but I rather suspect that my experience is not unique. What perhaps is unique is the fact that I am willing to talk about it. We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we were reliving the present, deja vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this an alternative world branched off.
I am literally saying here that this is patient zero of the Mandela effect, 100%. Obviously, this guy's noticed, like he said, you know, variables changing. We've experienced, if you're experiencing / suffering the Mandela effect, I sort of suggest to you that that's exactly what's happened to us. The variables we sort of grew up with, something's changed. Now, you know, we're getting a case of people who had died and now living, or people who we thought had died, we're absolutely sure had died, basically die again. This has just happened with a woman off Coronation Street. Now, I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure whether I'm thinking of another woman that did. I think she was called Deirdre Rashid on the program Coronation Street. I'm not a big fan of that program or TV in general anymore. So, but yeah, I don't know. I've got a memory of it, but it's kind of confusing. It's like almost like we're in kind of, things are getting changed all the time. We're in like a kind of a loop or something where people are just dying and then they're alive and then they're dying again. It's absolutely crazy. It's weird, but yeah, going back to this, I mean, this guy's obviously noticed something big time that's changed in his past. He's also sort of subconsciously been writing about things. I just watched something by Philip K. Dick the other night, and it's called, I think it was Electric Dreams. But I would suggest to all of us, especially ME sufferers, you know, just basically, and Mandela effect, meaning that I would definitely check his work out, have a look at his work, and bear in mind that he thinks that he's writing about a previous sort of lifetime in like a different dimension. That's kind of what it's like. It's like we've grown up in a different dimension. Things were different. And you know, the other thing as well, like I've said on a previous video, we used to think that, well, I thought that maybe this started some time round when Mandela died, or maybe it was caused by CERN. Well, I mean, this guy blows all that out of the water. It's nothing to do with CERN. If this was happening in 1977, if he's noticed this happening, I mean, let's say the Earth's flat, and let's say not only that, Antarctica is never ending. It never ever stops. It's just a simulation, and then it just goes. You've got Antarctica, and it goes and it goes and it goes, and it's just sky and it's just snow. It's just blue and it's just white, and that's it. That's the only thing there. There's nothing else there. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But I mean, the only way that you can explain what we've experienced, whereas something in the past that we're absolutely sure of, or has absolutely changed. It's in people's houses. Books have changed. They used to say Berenstein, and now they say Berenstain. And people's expression when they saw the book has actually altered. It's actually changed. Up in the loft. I mean, nobody's sneaked in and done that. Nobody's gone in back in time and altered it. Because if somebody went back in time and altered, say, the name of the book, then we'd never remember it being anything other than the altered name. So we wouldn't have the memory. So I think when you look at it all, the only thing that really, the only thing that really makes any sense is that we're in a simulation, and at any point the variables can be changed within the program. And I'd further suggest that the only thing that we will know, and it's the other thing as well, yeah, I'll go on to that. What I'd suggest is the only thing that we would know is we'll sort of notice a change. And also, I am sure deja vu is something to do with this, because I've weirdly started getting deja vu again. So I don't know. I mean, I was, like I've said previously in another video, prior to 9/11, I was actually in tears. I'm not even joking. I was sat on my ex-girlfriend's bed, weeping, saying, it's like I've lived everything before. I knew I was going to get fired from my job, which I ended up doing. The business went bust. Everybody was doing well, but the business went bust because of mismanagement of money and stuff like that. And I was looking out my window months before this happened, and I just knew that I wouldn't be looking at this view. I had a beautiful view. I think it was about 12 floors up, and I just knew it was ending. There's more to this. Why are we noticing? This is the thing. Why is not other people noticing? Why is that? I don't understand that. Is it being written into the program? Are we somehow special? This is the thing that's really, really puzzling me, is how come there's residual proof? And I mean, let's say that it is a simulation, then how come there's residual proof? How come some people, they don't remember it like it's never, you know, it's never happened. They won't even entertain the thought. It's just not there for them. It's like, you know, they're basically, it's written into them. You know, do you know, like people say about dreams? I mean, you could say dreams are just, you know, the day that you just basically sort of reliving what you did. But I don't really ever dream about the same day. I don't dream about anything that I've done in the day. I dream about random stuff, and I've also dreamt things that have come true as well, which thankfully they didn't come fully true, but they did come true. Who knows? I mean, we when we lay down on a night, who knows? We're not uploading data to a supercomputer somewhere. You know, what is sleeping? They still don't understand what dreams are. They don't understand what parts of the brain do. You know, there's so many things that they don't understand. And you know, if we were in a simulation, maybe they can even. And I suggest that you watch a program as well called Westworld, where basically this it's for really rich people. It's a simulation. You ride in on a train into this simulation. It looks like a real world, and there's actual robots that are working there, like biological robots, and you know, they can stop this world at any point, stop you dead in your track, come in, alter stuff, and then disappear, and then start it again. I mean, this could be exactly like this. We could even be reversed. And this is where deja vu comes in, where we've actually done something before, they've stopped it, they've replayed it in a different way. Who knows, but there's definitely more to this. Everything in this world, it's not, there's no way that this has been, it's evolved out of nothing. It's evolved out of nothing in the original, the Big Bang, just nothing creates everything. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And then, you know, this Earth, it's, you know, how could it evolve as to where it's evolved as to where this Earth, if it had animals on it, if it didn't have flies, if it didn't have bacteria and such things, over millions of years, it'd just be a planet full of shit. But you've got basically in the ocean, you've got bottom feeders, you've got an ecosystem, you've got whales that feed off the absolute tiniest thing, as in, well, one of the tiniest sort of organisms in the ocean, in plankton. You've got bottom feeders that clean all the oceans. You've got like on land, you know, if a dog poos on the side of the road, you know, within a day or two it's gone. Flies have eaten it. You know, it's been cleaned and taken care of. You know, we've sort of been designed for this place almost. You know, we can live in the atmosphere, we can live in the oxygen, water sustains us, there's food growing around, there's animals to eat, everything's just, it's almost like, you know, if you could sort of design a perfect world, if you're on your Xbox or PlayStation 4 or whatever, and you could start from the ground up on a planet and just design it all up and sort of have everything there, like ecosystems, just complex ecosystems. You've got weather ecosystems. You've got it's just designed, you know, for life on here, and I just can't see how that's any evolution. And then when you actually look at evolution, you look at dinosaurs. In thanks to part to Eric DeBay, the dinosaur thing absolutely looks a sham. You know, all the dinosaurs that you ever visit and ever saw in a museum weren't actual dinosaurs. They're actually just sort of plaster casts and fakes. It's like we've just appeared overnight on this planet, and I don't know if that's a case of we've just been sort of designed and they've pressed go, or whether we've actually sort of been taken here. Who knows? But it's not evolution. It's more simulation than evolution, I'd say. Right, I'm out anyway. And if you think about it, it explains quite a lot. It explains why basically we seem to have, well, apparently been on this planet at one point as like Neanderthal man, you know, sloping foreheads, long arms, and not very intelligent. And then in like an evolutionary sort of standpoint, overnight we've basically turned into, you know, more intelligent beings, able to do more complex things. sort of realise that we've, realise his own mortality and realise, self-consciousness. So I mean, we've completely changed. We're like humans, version 3.0 or something. I don't know. It just seems to me, it just seems all sort of like fake. And if there was life on this planet caused by a meteor and this, that, and the other, then why isn't every other planet? Why aren't they populated? Why are they dead? Why do they look dead planets all around us like we're the only one with any life on there? It's things just don't add up at all. They don't add up in this world at all. And I think they know that. I think they know what the real truth is. I think Philip K. Dick is the first person to really put all the pieces together and realise that, yeah, we more than probably are in a simulation. I think the powers that be know this. You look at the Bible, God created the heavens and the earth in 7 days and rested 7 days. That's something that a programmer could do, isn't it? You could not create all this. You'd have to be such a super powerful being to create everything overnight. If it wasn't, a simulation, if it was on a computer, then it'd be easier to do. If it was on some kind of supercomputer, it kind of starts making sense. I don't know. The whole quantum physics thing as well, I think it's quantum entanglement. So if you imagine in GTA 5, if you got, let's say, they were sort of more self-aware in GTA 5 and they got a particle of something and they took half, say like it was a water molecule and they've got, is it 2 oxygen, 1 hydrogen? So they took one of the oxygens to, I don't know, right round the other side of the world, let's say, or across the flat plane, whichever way you want to put it. And then they did something to it and they both instantly behaved the same way. Well, they kind of would do that because they're in the same game, that, everything's joined in GTA 5. It is one game. So we get exactly the same in this world. You do that, take, a molecule of oxygen round to Australia and in the UK, you do something to the other molecule and they vibrate instantly at the same time. Everything's connected exactly the same way that it would be in a computer. They're even saying that reality is pixelated, so that basically when we get down to a certain level, we can't see anything else. It doesn't go any further. Excuse me. The same way as if you look at a TV and you can only go down to once you get to the individual pixels, it doesn't make any sense. And that's kind of what the quantum world is. It doesn't behave like it should do, because it's, in my opinion, it's like code. And when people have done the actual sums into the cosmos and tried to work out the building blocks of life, they've found browser code. Actually, a language it was written in, I think it was like the 1960s or something by a guy, I forget his name, but it is even a special kind of computer language. I mean, how deep does this go? Interesting though. Comments please, sub, like, thanks very much.